Yes, Amin. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
Fine.
All right. So let's continue the class. Amina, in the previous class, I believe you were absent.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, I was.
Okay, no issues. Okay. So currently, do tell me one thing that in your school, which chapter is going on in science?
In science, for us, the chapter that's going on is like, wait, let me just check, okay?
Okay, okay. While in the previous class, we did talked about, we were done discussing about sowing. What are the different methods? What are the precautions we have to take care while the seeds are being sown? So let me give you a quick recap of what are the things we have discussed. Then we will be continuing further. Meanwhile, do let me know which chapters have been finished in your school
For
and
us,
which
it's
chapter is currently going on. Yes.
combustion and flames.
Okay. Okay. Conduction and combustion
Combustion
and
and
combustion and flames is going on. Okay. And which chapters has been finished as of now?
all the other chapters that's before it.
Okay. In a sequence, all the chapters have been finished. Okay.
So,
So
the chapters that are there for unit test, my teacher
hmm,
will tell us which chapters there are on Sunday. So,
hmm.
I will get the portion on Sunday.
Okay, once you get the portion, I mean, do let me know with the portion, okay, and what the portion is for your exams, okay.
Yes, sir.
And so, crop production and management that has been finished in your school, as you are saying,
Yes, sir.
it has been finished, okay. Crop production done. What about microorganisms, friends and foe?
Yes, sir.
That has been done, okay. Then what about chapter number this coal and petroleum, chapter 5?
I don't know about that because like I didn't go to school for the first 2 weeks as I was not feeling well.
Okay, okay, no issues. Do one thing when you go to the go to the school next time now, get a list of the chapters that has been done in your class, okay,
Okay, sir.
because that is important for me to know. Getting it, no? Then accordingly I will be scheduling, for example, if you need extra classes or how you have which chapter we need to start next in the batch, that will be decided accordingly to that only, according to which chapters are going to be there in your upcoming exams. So once I know that, according to that we'll be studying in the class, okay now.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so continuing with the first chapter, you haven't got the syllabus now, as it told me, yeah. So continuing with this chapter, in the previous class, uh, while you were absent, Amina, we did talked about sowing. What are the methods? What are the things we need to take care of while the seeds are being sown in the ground? Give me a minute.
Yes, sir.
So we had a small activity in order to separate the good and the bad seeds. Simply by dipping it in water, you can separate them. The one that will be floating, it means that it is hollow. The seeds are eaten and they are infected right now. The one that will be settling at the bottom, it means that they are heavier, and they are heavier because they are not hollow from inside. So that's why in this manner you can separate it. Then we discussed this thing in the class that seeds can be sown in two ways. Either it can be sown by the hand or with the help of a seed drill. So sowing of the seeds manually by your hand is called as broadcasting. What do we call that as? Broadcasting.
Broadcasting.
What happens in the method of broadcasting? In the method of broadcasting, simply you are sowing the seeds with hand, or
The
manually the
seeds
seeds
by
are
hand.
and it is scattered in the entire plough of land right now. However, this method is not very good because there is no proper spacing or proper depth at which the seeds are sown by the hand. Getting it now, Amina? So thereby,
Yes.
this is not efficient. So thereby, we shifted to another method. So farmers developed a traditional seed drill. This is a modern seed drill. They also came up with the idea of a traditional seed drill. So what they would do, see, by the help of this plow, they are plowing the land. Now at the same time, what they did now, they have taken a funnel shaped structure and they attach it to a hollow pipe. This is a hollow pipe, and above it's a funnel, and hollow pipe is open on the on the both the ends. So as the land is being plowed, as the bullocks drives this plow, so they would be pulling it also right now. So just along the plow, you have a connected a traditional seed drill also. So in this manner, farmers would be able to sow the seeds in a better manner as compared to just scattering by it hand. But it also had some limitations, like it can't be done on a large piece of land. It was again not that much efficient. It was not that much efficient. So then we came up with the idea of this seed drill. So what seed? How does the seed drill functions? See, in the seed drills now, there would be 5 or 6 iron tubes which would be joined together. Fifth, 5 or 6 iron tubes that would be joined together, and they would be joined together with a common funnel. There would be a common funnel at the top. This funnel structure that you're seeing over here, this is called as a funnel. So it's a big funnel at the top where the
Yes, sir.
seeds will be put. So the seeds would be put in this funnel, and the seeds will be released through the tubes. Look at these open tubes in it. These are the tubes in it, and they are at equal spaces from each other. So by using the seed drills that would be pulled by the tractors, we are able to sow the seeds at equal distances from each other. Not only that, once the seeds are sown at equal distance and at equal depth also, they are covered with soil also. They are covered with the soil also, so that birds or insects do not eat it. Getting it now? So there are several advantages of use of a seed drill. Talking about the advantages of use of a seed drill, that are as follows. The first advantage is that seeds are sown at the right depth. Second, it is sown at equal distance from each other. Third is that seeds are covered with soil after sowing so that birds do not eat them. Major advantage is that it saves your time and the human labor. Large piece of field can be sown with the help of this seed drill. Getting it now? So these are the basic things. Then question comes, what precaution you should be taking while the seeds are being sown? Yeah. So the first thing, as we discussed, while we were talking about what are the advantages of use of a seed drill. So there we talk about right depth. So first thing you need to take care of that is seeds are sown at right depth. So seeds should be sown at right depth. Then seeds should be sown at proper spacings from each other. Proper spacing. Because if the seeds are sown too deep or above the surface, huh, if you were to see sow it too deep, so in that case, what will happen? The seeds will not germinate. It will not germinate because it will not be getting proper amount of water, proper amount of sunlight. Getting it now, Amina? No sunlight and water. If you were to sow it at the surface, too close to the surface, so it will be blown by the wind or eaten by the birds or insects. Blown by wind or eaten by insects. So that is the problem. Apart from these two things, we need to take care that the soil is not dry. So the seeds should not be sown in the dry soil. Seeds shouldn't be sown in dry soil. Dry soil. Then the soil should also not be highly wet. So the seeds should not be sown in a highly wet soil. If the seeds are sown in a highly wet soil, what will happen? Then on drying, the soil surface will become hard, and because of this hard surface of soil, the germination will not be in a proper manner. Have you ever seen this thing, like if you provide excess amount of water or if there's a rainfall in the field, after rainfall, when the water dries, the soil becomes solid like this. It starts to become solid. Getting my point, Amina?
Yes, sir.
See, what will happen in this case basically? What will be happening in this case? See that these are the soil particles and there's sufficient amount of spacings between the soil particles so that air and water can enter it. Now, if you were to provide excess amount of water in it now, the gaps between the soil particles are filled with it, and thereby now soil will become flat. It becomes flat, and after the water is dried, so thereby once the water will dry up, the surface of soil will become hard. Soil surface becomes hard. So due to this, what will happen? Even if the seeds would have germinated, the plumule of the seed will not come out of properly. Meaning that when you look at the seed, there are two structures that come out of a seed. One is called as plumule, another one is called as radicle. This is radicle, this is plumule. So plumule is actually the green structure that comes out of it. This once was a plumule. This thing that I am pointing over here, this once was a plumule. So plumule is the greenish structure that comes out of the seeds, and later on it goes on to become the shoot system, and radicle later on becomes the root system of the seeds. So plumule will not be able to come out of the seed if the surf if it will not be able to come out of the soil if the soil surface becomes hard. So neither dry soil, neither highly wet soil is better good. You getting my point?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Amina. Okay. Now you might have seen um, that why transplantation is done. Like you might have seen certain type of crops. They are usually most of the crops are sown. They are grown by directly sowing the seeds in the soil. You directly sow the seeds in the ground. Most of the crops, but for some crops like you have rice, you have different type of vegetables um like chilies, like tomato. uh, for them, transplantation is done. Have you studied about transplantation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no? There's a small topic remaining to be discussed. The question is like, why it is better to sow seeds uniformly? Yeah, we discussed that it is better to sow the seeds uniformly, meaning that at proper spacing from each other. The question comes, why is it important? Why is it better? Yes, Amina.
Because they need like space for air and water and to grow their roots. If they're too close, there won't be enough space for the air and water, and the roots won't grow properly.
Exactly. Right now, so the plants will be competing for resources with each other, for water, for nutrients, for salts. Even the leaves of the plants will be competing for sunlight, for air. So that is the thing. Then why are plants kept in a small bags in nursery? Because these plants are going through a process called as transplantation. So there must be some advantages of transplantation. No? The process of transplantation. How do we define this, by the way? The process is basically called as, it's a process in which once you have planted some seeds and those seeds have grown to some height, those seeds have grown into tiny
You take
plants
it out
called
of the
as.
bag and then you move it
Hmm,
to the ground.
exactly. What do we call those tiny plants? First of all, they are grown in bags and they
Sapling.
grow to a tiny size plant. Yeah, saplings or
Sapling.
exactly saplings or seedlings. Okay, now so saplings or seedlings. So these are plants of plants like they are few centimeter in size. So then they would be now, while in the nursery, no, nursery is such a place just like a child is nurtured in a nursery or in a play school. So in the similar manner, in the nursery, plants are given nourishment in adequate amount, proper amount of sunlight, proper amount of manures and fertilizers are provided, proper dose of nutrients are given to the seeds to germinate. So seeds now when they grow to tiny plants called as seedlings, so then they are then you can choose the healthy ones. The healthy ones you can choose them, you can pick them from the nursery, and then you can transfer them to the main field where they would be grown in a regular manner. So that is called as transplantation. Basically, the process of transferring the seedlings or saplings from the nursery to the
From the
main field.
nursery to the ground.
Hmm. It is done manually right now. So the process of transplantation of seedlings or saplings from the nursery to the main field by hand is called as transplantation or transplanting. Now, why we are doing this? Because there must be some advantages of it now. What are the advantages you get by doing this? Yes, Amina. First thing is now, like you get the option to choose only the healthy ones, only the better and healthy seedlings for the cultivation of crops, isn't it? You can reject the
Yes, sir.
bad ones, right now.
Yes, sir.
While in the case of directly sowing the seeds in the ground, their selection is not possible. However, this selection which we have is not possible when the seeds are directly sown in the main field. So that is a problem. So it gives you choice to select only choice to select. Next, you think what are some other advantages? Yes, Amina, you
You get
must
to
have
take care of
studied.
the plant when it's small.
You can
You can give it enough nutrients and water and sunlight when it's small.
see that is no that is in the process of transplantation. That is about that goes into the process of transplantation. I'm talking about advantages. See, one of the advantage of transplantation is now the process of transplantation allows better penetration of the roots in the soil. The plants that are grown in this manner, their root penetration is better. They can penetrate deeper into the soil. So hence will have access to more water, more nutrients. Even if the water level goes down, the roots will still have access to the water. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
It develops better root penetration. Apart from this, you will observe that even the shoot system of the plants that are grown in this manner, they are better. So this process promotes better shoot development. You understand what does shoot mean now? SHOOT promotes better shoot development. Yes, what does it mean? Yes, Amina. A plant has got two systems.
It lets the shoot grow better.
Hmm. Shoots will grow obviously better, but what does shoot basically mean here? What are they?
The stem.
Not just the stem, every part of the plant that is above the ground, whether it be stem, whether it be leaves, whether it be birds, flowers, fruits, everything that is called as shoot. Okay, now so it will count leaves. We can have birds
Okay, sir.
also, buds, birds. You can have vegetables also, or fruits, vegetable, fruits, stem, etc. That is shoot system. The one that is below the root, that is below the ground, that is root system. So this system helps in doing so also. Okay, now it also gives you the choice to plant the seedlings at right spacings from each other. It gives you the manual option of allowing the seedlings to be planted at right spacing from each other. So you can manually plant them at equal distances from each other. Like you have rice plantation like this, you can plant them at equal spacing from each other in this manner. While if you were to sow the seeds directly, there you won't have this option. Okay, Amina. The fourth one is
Yes,
that
sir.
gives us with choice to plant seedling at proper spacing. These are some of the crops for which it is done. Like for a cabbage, it is done. For cabbage, for broccoli, it is done. Hmm. It is done for rice. It is done for tomatoes, for chilies. So these are the examples of those crops which goes through the process of transplantation. Right now? Okay, hope that is clear to you. Vaiga hasn't joined today. No? No.
No.
Then let's discuss what are the methods of replenishing the soil with nutrients. You see, like naturally different type of minerals are present in the soil. Different type of minerals are required by the plants to carry out different types of functions. Just like our body requires different type of things like protein, a muscle building component of the food. You have studied about protein in class 6, I believe. You must have studied about it. uh,
So
class 7, I believe, in this chapter, nutrition in animals.
yes.
So right, so proteins are uh, muscle building food and also helps in repairing the damaged tissues. Carbohydrates are energy giving food. Fats are energy reserves. Minerals and vitamins are protective component of the food, helps to fight against the disease and build the immune system of the body. Roughage is a dietary fiber, helps in digestion. Those were the different type of nutrients important for we humans and certain animals. Talking about the plants also are in need of nutrition. No? Hmm? So what are the nutrition for them? What gives them nutrition? Hmm?
They get nutrition from the soil, like with
Yes.
fertilizers and all.
But what do fertilizers basically contain in them? What do fertilizers provide them with? Hmm?
Compost.
So compost that in itself is a natural fertilizer which we have. My question is that what do they basically get from it? See, basically, as I was taking about names of different nutrients required by we humans. So in the similar manner, plants will require different type of elements, like it will be requiring nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium. Hmm? It will be in need of boron. It requires iron. It requires zinc, magnesium. Different minerals, different elements are required by the plants to carry out different functions. You getting my point? So there are different minerals required by plants to perform different functions. Right now, like as you know, to obtain energy, what type of nutrient you require? Yes. Hello.
You need
Hmm.
feed.
Yeah. Yeah, like you require food that are goods that are rich in carbohydrate, right now.
Yes.
So talking about some of the essential minerals that are required by the plants, they are as follows. For example, you have this phosphorus, you have carbon, you have sodium, hmm, you have nitrogen, you have potassium. I'm just giving names of few of them. Magnesium is required, hydrogen, or like oxygen, calcium. Just to name a few of the minerals, these are some of them that are required. In total, there are 16 or 17 nutrients that are required by the plants to carry out their main functions. For example, as I told you, carbohydrate is an energy giving food that is required to take energy. Like for the plants to carry out the process of photosynthesis, they need magnesium. To carry out photosynthesis, what do plant need? Yes, Amina?
Mm,
To carry out photosynthesis, to do photosynthesis, plants need magnesium,
magnesium.
right? What else do they need? Plants need carbon dioxide also. So carbon is found in it. Huh? So plants generally will be able to acquire these minerals from the soil and from the air. Normally, they would be able to acquire it from the soil and from the air, but due to repeated cropping, due to repeated cultivation on the land, these minerals are exhausted from the soil. These are lost from the soil. So, thereby, there's a need to replenish them. So, we have got three common methods of replenishing the lost plant nutrients in the soil. Okay, now, what are those three methods? Can you tell me? What are the three methods that we need? Yes, Amina. How will you be recharging the soil with these minerals?
Uh, fermentation.
Fermentation. It's a completely different topic, not related to this. You would be adding manures, adding fertilizers to the soil now to replenish the soil with these nutrients. Amina,
Yes,
you
sir.
getting this or not?
Yes, sir.
Do tell me, do tell me, where did this term fermentation came to your mind? How did it came up?
I was trying to say fertilization.
Hmm. Okay, see. So the deficiency of the plant nutrients, and there would be some organic substances also that are important for plant. So it is made up, the deficiency of plant nutrients and organic matter. Organic matter, we'll be studying about that also, like the humus. uh, Organic matter are the living components found inside the soil, like you have earthworms, certain kind of insects and microorganisms. So nutrients and organic matter are being continuously utilized by the plant due to repeated cropping on the same land, due to repeated growth. So they are made up by addition of manures, fertilizers. There's one more called as crop rotation. So you have manures, you have fertilizer. Third one is crop rotation. Under manures, you'd be having different types of manures. Okay, now see from this one. You have natural organic manure, you have biofertilizers, and you have vermicompost. So let's understand about them. Talking about the manures. So talking about this manure will be a natural fertilizer. Also, what comes to your mind when I talk about fertilizer? When I say fertilizer, what comes to the mind?
Compost.
Not just compost. Fertilizer could be compost, it could be a manure, it can be a biofertilizer, it could be a synthetic fertilizer. Fertilizer is anything that upon adding to the soil will enhance its fertility. Okay, no? So manure is a natural fertilizer, and it is a natural substance that will be obtained by the decomposition of animal waste like cow dung or the human waste. Then you have plant residues. So it is prepared in this manner. So look at this image over here. Different kind of waste can be used in order to prepare a manure. Like in its preparation, what you can do, simply you can take a large container or you can dug a pit in which you will be putting different type of waste. Like you can put cow dung in it, you can put human waste, we can put the plant residues, huh? For example, yard trimmings. Biosolids means sewage sludge, the waste that comes from the house, the human waste, talking about that. Wood byproducts, like in the where the furnitures are manufactured, they are wood is cut into different different furnitures. So wood cravings can be used, animal manures can be used. Animal manure basically refers to animal dung, right? A crop residues, like from the after the crop is harvested, whatever is left there, that can also be used. Biodegradable packings, like packings which are like paper that is, if the paper is used as packing of material, so that can be used. Food scraps that are made up of paper, that can be used in order to prepare the manure. Is that clear to you or not? So what type of waste are required in order to prepare the manure? Yes, Amina?
Food waste,
Hmm?
um, plant waste. You can use
Hmm?
animal manure. You can
Animal
use
waste. Hmm.
biodegradable packing.
Biodegradable packings, very good. You can use plant waste like dried leaves, dead leaves can be used. So simple process is simply dug a pit. Even we can do this. We can simply dug a pit in an open place or take a big iron container or some container, or better, it would be better to take a plastic container and put all of this waste into it, sprinkle some water in it, and simply allow it to decompose slowly. And decomposition is carried by what? Is it carried by birds, worms, or microorganisms? Yes, the
No,
decomposition will be carried out by microorganisms, by the action of microorganisms. So slowly microbes will start to decompose it. So for example, if you were to have this much of waste, after a month it will reduce to this much because of decomposition by microbes. Okay, now? So hope you are getting it. Now, what are the advantages of addition of this manure? There must be some advantages. That's why we are doing this. See, manures contains now they contains mixture of various nutrients, like various type of elements, and it consists a lot of organic matter, that is humus. Okay, now you understand what does humus mean? It adds a mixture of various nutrients. Yes, Amina, are you there or not? Various nutrients and
yes, sir.
humus to soil. So you're getting like what nutrients are going to be different type of elements which we have studied, um
Yes,
like you have got boron, you have nitrogen, you have iron, calcium, etc. What is what is humus here? Have you heard of humus before, studied about it?
no,
See, when you look at the soil, you have different types of soil. You have clay soil, sandy soil, loamy soil, black soil. Why is black soil dark in color, or like clay soil or loamy soil are having darker color as compared to the sandy soil? You know what the reason is? Because of the presence of organic content in it, because of the presence of dead and decaying substances present in it. It could be dead and decaying plant or animal matter. It would be because of presence of microorganisms in it. Getting my point? So humus is basically the organic matter that is found inside the soil. Humus would be the decaying substances that are present in the soil. It would be dead plant and animal matter. Okay, no, that is what humus is. Amina, is that clear? Did you understood what is humus?
Yes, sir.
So it's the dark organic material that is found in the soil when plants and animal matter starts to decay. So, for example, when you go to a forest, you see that leaves are continuously dropping, leaves, twigs, TWIGS, and other materials are falling on the ground, and continuous deposition is happening. So that leads to formation of dark, that leads to formation of humus. Particularly, it is made from dead leaves and plants only. Particularly, that puts that enhances the fertility of the soil. Okay. So it's a organic matter found in the soil. So addition of manure will improve the content of humus, because humus in itself is what? How are we preparing it? We are preparing it again from the animal and the plant waste now, isn't it, Amina? So if a soil is not having enough humus, so manure will add enough amount of humus. Now then question comes like, if manure was sufficient to use, it was sufficient for the soil, then why was there need to develop chemical fertilizers? Isn't that a question? Yes. Yeah, Amina.
Yes,
Think of this. Hmm? So it provides a lot of organic manure. That is correct. It provides a lot of organic matter. Apart from doing that, it improves the aeration in the soil. It improves, pay attention here, it improves aeration. What does it mean? See, if the spaces between the soil particles are not proper, less amount of spaces between the soil particle, so thereby air will not be entering it, water will not be entering in between the soil particles, right now, Amina. So what happens? Addition of the manures, addition of the manures will improve the air spaces between it. It increases the gap between the soil particle. Okay, now gap between soil particles. So hence the plants that will be grown in this soil will be able to breathe properly because of the air spaces between the soil particles. Next advantage of this method is that it also improves the water retention of the soil. Manure will be improving the soil texture and will be improving the retention of the soil. You getting my point or not? Huh?
yes, sir.
How does it do so? Let's understand that also. What do you mean by water retention? Water retention. Some of the soils are not a good do not retain water. Like sandy soil, they do not hold the water. It loses the water. Like if you have a small sample of sandy soil, try to pass water through it. Almost all of the water will pass through the sandy soil. Hmm? So it improves water retention and improves texture of the soil. So once it is put here, now the soil will be absorbing more amount of water. It will hold more amount of water. It will not lose the water. So that is the thing. But disadvantages are also there with the manure, because the does not provides with all the necessary minerals. Like they are not rich in major plant nutrients. They are manures are not rich in major plant nutrients. Like you have major plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. That is nitrogen, that is P here stands for, and here stands for nitrogen, P for phosphorus, and K here stands for potassium. So the problem with the use of manure is that they contain a very less amount of these major plant nutrients. So that is the thing. So they make up for the general nutritional requirement of the soil. The general nutrition of the nutritional requirement of the soil is fulfilled. Also, manures are not nutrient specific, meaning that let's say that in a field the soil lacks nitrogen, so you will be able to fulfill that only if you were to use a nutrient specific chemical fertilizer. Like you have a bag of nitrogenous fertilizer, you would be able to fulfill the requirement. But in order to make up the nitrogen requirement of that soil, you won't be able to do so with the help of a manure. Are you getting my point or not?
Yes, sir.
That's why we say that they are not nutrient specific. Another disadvantage is that they are inconvenient to store, handle, and transport because of their bulky and voluminous nature. They are bulky and voluminous. So hope it is clear to you and you have understood this. Okay, now any questions so far? Next, we have few
No,
topics
sir.
left to be discussed. Right now, right now, as of now, we have talked about preparation of soil. We did talked about sowing, and we are right now talking about the third method involved, third step involved in cultivation of crop. That is addition of manure and fertilizer. So, few things are left to be discussed. Like talking about this compost, talking about manures. Manures are also of different types. When you talk about manures now, further we will find that manures are also of different types. Like you have green manure, you have compost, you have biofertilizers, you have vermicompost. So we will understand what's the general difference between these, and we would be talking about fertilizers. What are the advantages of fertilizers and what are the disadvantages of fertilizer? Like here you can see this is the synthetic fertilizer made up of chemicals. So we will be understanding what are advantages and disadvantages of a chemical fertilizer. Okay. We will be ending the class with one question. Do tell me what are the precautions you will take care while sowing the seed.
We need to make sure there's enough space for the plant to grow.
Okay. And
We need to make sure that the plant can get sunlight,
good.
so it shouldn't be like too deep.
Hmm. At right depth, it should be sown at the right depth. And
I didn't hear you.
we should ensure that it is sown at the right depth, right?
Yes.
Okay. And talking about the soil, it should neither be too
Soil
dry.
should be
Hmm.
fertilized.
Correct. Okay, no? Okay. Now, in agriculture, broadcasting is used for what? Is it used for removal of the unwanted plants? Is it used for the sowing? Is it used for sowing the seeds or plowing the land? What do we use broadcasting for?
For sowing seeds by hand.
Sowing the seeds. Very good. Okay. One more thing I wanted to tell you guys, that there is an organization called as National Seed Corporation, NSC. Okay, na? This is a corporation in India which has set up laboratories at different places to study about the quality of seeds. Huh? So it has started to function in the year 1963. It was set up in 1963 and in March, and after a month it started working. What was the purpose? It was the purpose to develop the seed industry of India. Right now, to study about the quality of seed in India, to study about the diseases with which seeds are infected, how to develop, in order to develop disease and pest resistant seeds, to develop high yielding variety of seeds, and in order for production and stocking of the seeds, this organization was developed. This was set up in the year 1963. That is called as National Seeds Corporation. So in certain kind, like the farmers went to buy certain kind of seeds of seeds, on that bag this NSC would be written. That's a mark that the seed has been produced and stocked under this organization. This has been quality checked by this National Seed Corporation, and it is better to use. Getting my point, Amina?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's it for today. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Also, please do no, try to join the class at the given time. Okay, no?
Okay, sir.
Okay, and once you are updated with the